Welcome to a journey where history, passion, and hidden treasures unite, a place where stories rise from the past and transform into inspiration for your future. Today we're stepping into a world where one item, one moment, one discovery has the power to change everything. First up, we're exploring a 7 remarkable piece, one USA 1971 half-dollar coin. This is not about a collection, not about a group, not about multiple coins. This script is dedicated to the power, mystery, and rising value of one coin that stands above many others. The story of the 1971 half-dollar begins at a turning point in American history. This powerful coin was created to honor the legacy of President John F. Kennedy, a leader whose vision inspired millions. Though the first Kennedy half-dollars appeared in 1964, the 1971 issue marks a major shift, making it a unique chapter in its own right. In 1971, the United States Mint introduced a bold change. This was the very first year the Kennedy half-dollar transitioned from silver to a copper-nickel composition. This shift wasn't just technical, it symbolized a new era of modern American coinage, giving the 1971 half-dollar its own identity, its own strength, and its own collectible value. Collectors admire the 1971 half-dollar because it represents survival. Despite being mass-produced for circulation, only a small portion remained in excellent shape. Most were used in daily transactions, worn down, lost, or circulated heavily. But the few that survived in outstanding condition became the shining stars of the coin world. What makes this one coin even more valuable is the stories collectors attach to it. Some were kept as keepsakes, some were pulled out of circulation by sharp-eyed individuals, and some were sealed away untouched for decades. Every untouched 1971 half-dollar carries historical energy waiting to be unlocked. When you hold this coin, you're not just holding metal, you're holding a moment frozen in time, a moment connected to American leadership, national transition, and millions of people who once felt its weight in their hands. This is why collectors chase it, treasure it, and elevate its worth. And yes, this coin is valuable, not just in money, but in meaning. But today we're talking about real monetary value, and the 1971 half-dollar has proven again and again that it can reach high levels in auctions when the condition is outstanding. A flawless high-grade 1971 half-dollar, especially one preserved for decades, sealed, protected, and untouched, has the power to reach up to $1,200 in special collector sales. Exceptional examples with dramatic mint errors can push even higher, transforming a simple half-dollar coin into a 4-figure treasure. Collectors love dramatic mint errors, offcenter strikes, doubledie obverse, heavy planchet flaws, and rare misstrikes. These rare features turn a regular circulating coin into a masterpiece worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how eye-catching the flaw is. If your coin is in beautiful condition, keeping it sealed is one of the best decisions you can make. Sealing protects the luster, the detail, and the originality, 3 things that unlock maximum value when the coin finally reaches the hands of buyers. Where can you sell it? Anywhere collectors are searching: online auctions, coin shops, private buyers, Facebook collector groups, Instagram sellers, and certified grading platforms. When you showcase the coin's shine, story, and beauty, buyers will step forward. Where can you buy another one? Trusted coin dealers, coin expos, grading services, online marketplaces, and even antique shops occasionally reveal hidden gems. But none would match the emotional value of your own coin discovered with intention and fate. Should you keep it? Absolutely. A coin like this doesn't just hold value, it gains value. Every year, collectors grow stronger, the demand increases, and high-grade coins become harder to find. Your one coin becomes rarer with time, not more common. The 1971 half-dollar stands as a reminder that something small can rise to greatness. A single moment of attention, a single coin preserved with care, becomes a financial and historical treasure that grows silently in value year after year. And remember, you are the guardian of this one coin. Your protection, your patience, and your belief can transform this simple half-dollar into a showpiece worth far more than anyone ever expected. So elevate it, protect it, seal it, and let it shine. You're not just holding a coin, you're holding possibility. And sometimes, possibility is worth far more than money. Thank you for joining this journey into the world of the USA 1971 half-dollar. Your one coin may just be the next treasure to surprise the world. Next coin, the USA 1972 half-dollar coin, holds a powerful place in American numismatic history, and today its story continues to rise in value with every passing year. This is a single coin that has captured the attention of collectors because of its age, its background, and its increasing demand. The 1972 half-dollar belongs to the famous Kennedy series, created in memory of President John F. Kennedy, whose leadership and legacy shaped a generation. Although the series began in 1964, the 1972 issue carries its own identity, its own charm, and its own hidden potential for becoming one of the most desired coins in the market. This particular year stands out because it represents the early era of copper-nickel Kennedy halves after the United States fully transitioned away from silver. The 1972 minting continued that bold direction, transforming the coin into a symbol of modern American coinage and giving it an appeal that grows stronger over time. Despite being a circulating coin, many examples of the 1972 half-dollar did not survive in high-grade condition. Wear, scratches, and heavy use reduced the number of near-perfect coins dramatically. That scarcity of premium condition coins is what pushes the value upward and makes every well-preserved piece highly desirable. Collectors often search far and wide for a 1972 half-dollar that still carries its original shine, its original details, and its original brilliance. A coin that has managed to stay untouched becomes a treasure that stands above the rest, and its value becomes immediately obvious to anyone who sees it. The history of this coin is tied not only to Kennedy's memory, but also to a moment when America was reshaping its identity during the early 1970s. Each 1972 half-dollar reflects that shift, making it far more than just metal. It becomes a piece of American emotion, culture, and remembrance. In today's market, the 1972 half-dollar continues to climb in status. Collectors compete over the highest quality examples, driving prices higher every time a remarkable coin appears. This constant rise establishes the coin as one full of promise and long-term value. Right now, ordinary circulated examples may sell for modest amounts, but the true power lies in the high-grade and rare versions. A perfectly preserved, certified top-grade 1972 half-dollar can attract tremendous interest. The maximum value for an exceptional specimen has reached up to $3,000 in private collector demand when the condition and grade are flawless. Error versions, such as offcenter strikes, dramatic die cracks, or double die variations, can push the value even higher when the right buyer appears. This means your coin has strong potential for future value. As collectors continue searching for early 1970s Kennedy halves with perfect details, your one coin becomes rarer every single year. The demand grows, but the supply of pristine coins shrinks, and that is the formula that creates real long-term worth. If your coin is clean, bright, and sharp, you already hold a valuable asset. If it has a known mint error, then you are holding a true treasure. And if it has been kept safely in a protective holder or sealed, the chances of reaching maximum value become even greater. At this exact time, depending on condition, the highest sale potential can reach into the $1,000 range for the right example. Private collectors and error specialists often pay more because they appreciate rarity in a way general buyers do not. Selling opportunities are everywhere. Online marketplaces, collector groups, coin exhibitions, dealers, social platforms, and auction events are all searching for standout 1972 half-dollars. When you show your coin with confidence and clarity, buyers will recognize its strength. And as for future value, this coin has all the signs of long-term growth. Early mint Kennedy halves continue gaining attention, and every year more collectors start seeking them. This increase in future demand gives the 1972 half-dollar a promising path ahead. The best part is that you control the condition from here on. Keeping the coin protected, sealed, and untouched ensures it maintains the shine, the lines, and the beauty that collectors fight for when making high-value purchases. The 1972 half-dollar is more than just a collectible. It is a coin with character, history, and rising financial potential. Every detail carved into its surface tells a story that collectors love to preserve and pass forward. This one coin represents strength, meaning, and opportunity. Its age gives it dignity, its design gives it elegance, and its demand gives it value. That combination is rare, and that is exactly why it will continue to grow. You are not just holding money, you are holding possibility. And possibility has the power to become something greater with time, especially when it is tied to a treasure from the past. So keep your 1972 half-dollar with pride, protect it, and let it work for you. Its journey is just beginning, and its value is ready to rise higher as new collectors discover its brilliance. Your coin's future shines bright, and the story of the 1972 half-dollar will only become stronger with every passing year. Next coin, the 1973 half-dollar from the United States, carries a modest face value of 50 cents, but beneath that simple number lies a story of change, history, and opportunity. This coin stands at a crossroads, created for everyday use, yet today sometimes sought after by collectors who see beyond its silverless composition. The 1973 issue belongs to the famous series bearing the portrait of President John F. Kennedy, a design introduced in 1964, carrying symbolic weight from the start. By 1973, the coin no longer contained silver. Like all half-dollars produced from 1971 onward, the 1973 half-dollar is made of a clad composition, copper with a thin outer layer of nickel. That change was part of a broader shift in U.S. mint policy. After the 1960s and a few transitional years, the silver content was removed completely, and coins like the 1973 half-dollar were minted for circulation, widely and in large numbers. In 1973 alone, for the no-mint mark, Philadelphia version, about 64,964,000 coins were struck. That huge mintage means ordinary circulated coins remain plentiful, but that doesn't erase the fact that quality matters, and only a fraction remain in collector quality condition after decades. Beyond the Philadelphia coins, there were versions minted elsewhere in 1973 too, notably the Denver D coins and the proof issue from San Francisco S. The proof 1973 S half-dollar was made in far smaller quantity, 2.7 million pieces, specifically for collectors, not for everyday transactions. Because of these differences, composition, mint mark, purpose, a 1973 half-dollar's value today depends heavily on condition, mint mark, strike, and whether it's a proof. A worn coin used for change decades ago is very different from a spotless proof coin sitting untouched for 50 years. As of now, standard circulated 1973 half-dollars, the common type most people find, are typically valued only modestly above face value. For example, one online coinvalue guide lists average condition coins at roughly $2.02, with even high mint state specimens only reaching around $15.15 under ordinary circumstances. But that's only part of the story. For proof coins, 1973 S, or coins in top mint state, the value jumps significantly. Historically, there have been sales for special coins that reached much higher numbers. According to one reference, some of the finest 1973 S proof half-dollars with special qualities like deep cameo finish and highest grades have sold for thousands of dollars. Collectors actively seek out 1973 S coins, especially when trying to complete full sets of the series. Demand is strongest among half-dollar and kennedycoin collectors who care about completeness and mint quality. This makes the 1973 S a key date for many collections, and that alone gives it value beyond mere metal or face value. For those high-grade or proof coins, the maximum realized values, under ideal conditions, with proper certification and in front of the right buyer, can climb into the thousands of dollars. Some rare variants, especially error coins or exceptionally well-preserved proofs, have historically commanded remarkable prices. This means that if you hold a 1973 half-dollar that has been carefully preserved, never circulated, and perhaps is a proof or bears a mint mark that appeals to collectors, you may be holding a genuine treasure, not just an old coin. Even a standard 1973D or 1973 no mint mark piece, if it remained uncirculated, MS grade, might fetch more than face value once collectors inspect its condition. Some sources suggest that 1973D uncirculated coins can be worth significantly more than typical circulation pieces, though these remain rare. And if you have the 1973S proof, especially in high grade, with crisp strike, mirror-like fields, and preserved surfaces, then you have something with real collector appeal. Proof coins tend to attract those who want complete sets, or want to preserve a piece of mint history, or simply value the craftsmanship and rarity. Because the 1973 half-dollar series is now decades old, and many coins have been lost, damaged, or circulated heavily, good condition specimens become more precious with time. With each passing year, the pool of undamaged coins shrinks, increasing the rarity and potentially pushing prices up. That said, it's essential to recognize that demand for 1973 half-dollars is driven by collector interest, people who specially hunt these coins to complete sets, invest, or preserve history. The how many people want to buy it is not a fixed number, but the force of demand shows in the premiums paid when high-quality examples appear. If you bring to market a 1973 half-dollar in excellent condition, especially a mint state or proof coin, you could attract serious buyers, collectors aiming to build or complete a set, or investors seeking quality rarities. Your coin could easily exceed the typical value and reach toward the high end of possible sale prices. That potential makes the 1973 half-dollar not just a memory, not just a curiosity, but a real asset. One well-preserved coin may end up being worth far more than its face half-dollar decades from now, or maybe even now. Collectors value not only condition, but also rarity and provenance. A 1973S in mint condition, properly certified, with no wear, that coin carries history, heritage, and desirability. It becomes more than currency, it becomes a piece of American numismatic legacy. So if you own a 1973 half-dollar today, treat it with respect. Store it carefully, avoid scratches, keep it away from moisture and wear, because this coin, simple on the surface, could transform into something much more valuable with time and care. The journey of this coin started as everyday change, simple currency, minted for widespread use. Now, decades later, the same coin stands at a crossroad between common money and collectible treasure. Your 1973 half-dollar may be ordinary at first glance, but under the right conditions, in the right hands, and with patient timing, it can shine as a gem. It could be your personal connection to history and potentially your path to a significant future return. That's why you shouldn't ignore it, disregard it, or treat it lightly. You should preserve it, protect it, and hold on to it with pride. Because history, demand, and careful preservation can turn this one coin into something far more than 50 cents. Next coin, 1977 Kennedy half-dollar. The single coin we focus on today carries more than just a 50-cent face value. It carries legacy, demand, and the possibility of being a small but shining treasure. The 1977 half-dollar belongs to the renowned Kennedy half-dollar series, with the portrait of President John F. Kennedy, a design that has become iconic and collectible worldwide. The 1977 issue resumed the standard Kennedy reverse design after the bicentennial era, returning the coin series to its regular lineage and reaffirming its place in U.S. coinage. In 1977, the majority of half-dollars were minted not of silver, but in a copper-nickel-clad composition, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, giving the coin durability but removing the precious metal content. That means this coin was intended for circulation, normal commerce, not as a premium or silver-backed collectible. That being said, 1977 remains significant because the mintages that year were still substantial, but not infinite. The Philadelphia Mint struck 43,598,000 pieces, while the Denver Mint produced 31,449,106. Meanwhile, the San Francisco Mint released 3,251,152 proof coins, aimed at collectors rather than everyday change. Because so many coins were made, the common circulated 1977 half-dollars are easy to find today, but that also makes pristine, uncirculated, or rare pieces much more interesting to collectors. Many of the worn-out, circulated coins just serve as reminders of everyday change. If you were to look up a typical 1977 half-dollar in circulated condition, its value today is often close to its face value or only modestly above it. For many circulated examples, the market considers them to be around 51 cents, face value roughly, unless condition is exceptional. But if you own a 1977 half-dollar in uncirculated, mint state condition, especially if graded by a professional coin grading company, then this coin transforms from ordinary pocket change into something a collector might pay for. Some sources estimate that mint state 1977 half-dollars could fetch up to about $30 or more under good market conditions. The proof version 1977 half-dollar, struck at the San Francisco Mint, is especially interesting to collectors because proof coins tend to come with sharper details, cleaner surfaces, and presentation-ready quality. For those proof coins in high grade, the value can exceed typical circulated pieces by a noticeable margin. Depending on condition, surface preservation, strike quality, etc., some proof coins attract more interest than others. But beyond condition and proof status, collectors sometimes hunt for error coins or unusual varieties, misstrikes, planchet issues, or defects, which can make a coin more valuable because of its rarity. While 1977 half-dollars were not silver, rare mint errors or unusual conditions can add collectible premium beyond standard valuations. As to how many people want to buy it, the demand is mostly among coin collectors, Kennedy series enthusiasts, and error coin hunters. Because many 1977 coins were common, only collectors interested in higher-grade coins, proofs, or errors will pay more, but that niche is still active whenever good condition examples appear. Where can you buy a 1977 half-dollar? For circulated coins, many appear in online marketplaces, coin shops, auctions, or from private sellers. Collector-grade or proof coins tend to show up at specialized coin dealers, auction houses, or certified coin marketplaces, often after authentication and grading. If you want to sell one, the same channels work: auctions, collect-oriented marketplaces, coin shops, or specialized online forums, especially if you emphasize the coin's condition, mint mark, or any special attributes, proof, error, etc. Given all this, is the 1977 half-dollar worth it? Yes, but mostly under the right circumstances. A common, circulated coin likely isn't worth much more than its face value, but a well-preserved, uncirculated coin or a proof 1977s or a rare error variety can offer a realistic collectible value and possibly attract serious interest. Should you keep it? If the coin is average, worn, circulated, you could hold on to it, but realistically it's unlikely to skyrocket in value. But if it's in excellent condition or you think it could be a proof or error coin, then yes, it's worth holding. Preservation, avoiding cleaning, and maintaining original surfaces becomes important. Is sealing or preserving it advisable? Absolutely. Sealing or storing the coin carefully in a holder, capsule, or protective flip can help protect surfaces, prevent scratches, and preserve its collectible condition. That makes it more attractive to collectors later and helps retain maximum potential value. If you choose to sell, highlight any proof status, mint mark, condition, surface, strike, minimal wear, or evidence of error. That's what elevates a 1977 half-dollar from ordinary change to collector interest. The 1977 half-dollar represents a blend, common origins and widespread circulation on one hand and collectible potential on the other. It stands at a threshold. Common to average coins remain cheap. The rare, sharper coins become the ones worth watching. This coin shows that even something minted for everyday use can one day become part of a collection. With patience, care, and a bit of luck, perhaps you hold a better-than-average piece already. So if you have a 1977 half-dollar in hand, treat it with respect. Store it with care. If possible, have it graded. If it's a proof or high-grade coin, you could be holding a surprisingly valuable piece, more than mere change. 1977 half-dollar may begin as a small coin with 50-cent face value, but with time, good care, and collector demand, it can rise above its humble origin. Your coin's journey doesn't end in your pocket, it could begin there. Next coin, 1984 Kennedy half-dollar. This coin you have in mind has more behind it than just a piece of metal. Let me take you through its story, what makes it potentially valuable, how much you might get for it, where you could buy or sell it, and why you might want to hold it carefully. This is about one coin, the 1984 half-dollar. The 1984 half-dollar belongs to the famed Kennedy half-dollar series, the series created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination. Its obverse carries Kennedy's profile, crafted by designer Gilroy Roberts, and its reverse shows the classic presidential seal eagle by designer Frank Gasparro. In 1984, the U.S. Mint struck 26,029,000 of these Mint coins at the Philadelphia Mint. By that time, the Kennedy halves were no longer silver. Instead, they were copper-nickel-clad, copper center, outer copper-nickel layers, the standard composition since 1971. Although minted in large numbers, 1984-era Kennedy halves occupy an interesting place in coin history. By the 1980s, half-dollar coins were less used in daily commerce compared to decades earlier, and many went into storage, collections, or simply remained unused. Because of this mix, high mintage but lower circulation demand, the value of a 1984 half-dollar depends heavily on condition, grade, and collector interest. A worn coin from circulation is far less interesting than a mint state or pristine example. For a standard circulated 1984 half-dollar, market guides list values around face value, roughly 50 cents to maybe just above $1 if the coin is ordinary. But that's not the full story. If the coin is uncirculated, and especially if it has been preserved carefully, no wear, original luster intact, it gains potential. For high-grade mint state examples, some price guides put values around $3 or a bit more under normal mint state condition. Certain grading companies and auction records show that coins of exceptional quality, very high grade under professional certification, can fetch far more. It has been reported that some 1984 half-dollars graded extremely high, MS-67 or similar, have sold for over $1,100 at auction. That means your 1984 half-dollar could, under ideal circumstances, be much more than a small silverless coin. With proper care, preservation, and perhaps certification, it could attract serious collectors. Why is there this gap between common coins and high-value coins? It all comes down to rarity of condition and collector demand. Although millions were struck, very few remain in perfect or near-perfect state now. Most coins saw wear, handling, or circulation. The small fraction that remained untouched gradually becomes rarer, and rarity combined with historical interest fuels value. If you want to buy such a coin, typical places are coin shops, online auction sites, coin dealers, and specialized collectors' markets. Rolling through older coin lots or estate collections sometimes reveals half-dollars in surprisingly good shape. For higher-grade coins, certified coin dealers and auction houses are often where such coins appear. If you decide to sell, showcasing the coin's condition clearly, high level of detail, know where good luster will help. Auction platforms, collector-oriented marketplaces, certified coin grading services, and coin dealers are your best bet. Highlighting its mint mark P, date 1984, and state uncirculated or mint state will attract serious buyers rather than casual bargain hunters. Should you keep it or sell it? If your coin is just an everyday circulated $half, you might sell or keep depending on sentimental value, but it likely won't climb a lot. But if it's in excellent shape, uncirculated, maybe even bag fresh from mint packaging, then holding it could pay off. Over time, as high-grade examples grow rarer, demand among collectors could push value further upward. Sealing or preserving it carefully vastly improves chances of maximizing value. Avoid cleaning, avoid scratching, store in a protective holder or capsule. Unspoiled surface is what collectors treasure. It's far better to preserve original condition than to polish or improve. In short, this 1984 $half is not automatically a gold mine, but under ideal conditions, it absolutely holds real collectible value. It is part of a long-running and historically significant series. Its high-grade examples have already shown they can reach four-figure auction prices. For you, the coin might be a small investment in patience and care. If you treat it well and wait for a buyer who appreciates condition and rarity, this modest $half from 1984 could become a prized collectible, much more than just 50 cents worth. That journey begins with preserving the coin's quality today. A little effort, storing it correctly, avoiding damage, maybe getting it graded, could make all the difference. So if you have that 1984 $half in your hands, treat it with respect. It may seem ordinary, but with time and care, you might be holding a small treasure that tells a story, carries history, and could reward you financially too. Second coin, ladies and gentlemen, today we turn our attention to the legendary USA 1988 Kennedy $half, a coin that carries a powerful story, a proud heritage, and a surprising potential for collectors who recognize its hidden strength. The 1988 is more than an ordinary $half. It represents an era, a legacy, and a collectible that has begun to shine brighter with every passing year. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1988 was struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint, a mint mark known simply by the letter P, yet behind that single letter is the heartbeat of American coinage. This coin belongs to the famous Kennedy $half series, created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. Every 1988 $half carries his profile with pride, reminding us of the hope, leadership, and inspiration he brought to the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the year 1988 was a time when the United States Mint continued the Kennedy series with copper-nickel-clad composition. Though no longer made of silver, the craftsmanship, design, and historical legacy of the $half remained as powerful as ever. These coins were minted not only for everyday circulation, but also for collectors who understood the symbolism behind Kennedy's image. Ladies and gentlemen, what makes the 1988 $half especially valuable is the limited survival of perfect, untouched, uncirculated pieces. Millions were produced, but only a stunning handful remain in flawless condition today. Time, circulation, handling, and age have reduced the number of pristine examples dramatically, which is exactly why high-grade pieces rise in value so quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, collectors today chase these coins because high-condition 1988 $half represent both rarity and nostalgia. When a coin looks like it just left the mint yesterday, the value shoots up. And the 1988 has already proven this on the market, showing that perfect examples can bring in extraordinary prices when offered to serious collectors. Ladies and gentlemen, the motivation behind minting this coin was simple: to keep alive the national tribute to President John F. Kennedy. This was a coin meant to honor a leader and to remind future generations of his vision. That historical link alone raises the emotional and collectible appeal of the 1988 $half. Ladies and gentlemen, the demand for high-quality Kennedy halves is stronger now than ever. Younger collectors have entered the hobby, older collectors continue their sets, and competition for top-grade coins grows every year. As demand increases and supply shrinks, the value continues to climb. Ladies and gentlemen, while many circulated coins exist, the true treasure lies in stunning mint-state pieces. These are the coins collectors fight for, the coins that auction houses spotlight, and the coins that can bring in absolutely impressive prices. In elite condition, this coin has the power to rise far beyond expectations. Ladies and gentlemen, if your 1988 half-dollar has strong luster, sharp details, and no scratches or wear, you may be holding a sleeper coin, one that can shock you with its potential. High-grade certified examples can soar into triple digits and beyond, depending on the quality, eye appeal, and rarity of condition. Ladies and gentlemen, the maximum value for the most exceptional specimen, the kind that grading companies award with near-perfect scores, can reach close to $1,000 at high-profile auctions when the right collectors compete. This is where the true magic of the 1988 half-dollar reveals itself. Ladies and gentlemen, the more perfect your coin is, the more powerful its value becomes. That is why collectors seal, protect, and encapsulate these coins. A well-preserved 1988 half-dollar is more than a collectible, it becomes a rising investment. Ladies and gentlemen, sealing the coin, keeping it in a protective case, and avoiding all cleaning can dramatically increase its value. One tiny scratch can make the difference between an ordinary coin and a high-value treasure. Treat it like the valuable asset it truly is. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to sell this coin, the best arenas are online auctions, certified coin marketplaces, and collectors groups. These are the places where knowledgeable buyers recognize the worth of a high-grade 1988 Kennedy half-dollar and are ready to pay top prices. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of this coin continues to grow as more collectors turn their attention to late 20th century American coinage. What once seemed common is becoming scarce in top condition, and scarcity always means rising value. Ladies and gentlemen, owning a 1988 half-dollar in superior condition places you among those few collectors holding the gems of the Kennedy series. The market loves rarity, the market loves condition, and the market especially loves coins with a legacy as powerful as this one. Ladies and gentlemen, this coin is valuable, and its future potential is even brighter. As long as you preserve it well, its value can continue to rise, making it not just a collectible, but a meaningful long-term asset. Ladies and gentlemen, treat your 1988 half-dollar with care, protect it, keep it sealed, and you could one day hold a coin that sells for hundreds or even the maximum top-level price of around $1,000 in the right market. This coin is not just history, it is opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar is a treasure with a story, a symbol of American leadership, and a valuable collectible that can reward those who recognize its true potential. Keep it safe, honor its legacy, and let its value grow with time. Next coin, the USA 1995 half-dollar, stands as one of the most intriguing modern Kennedy coins, a piece that carries history, pride, and growing collector attention. The 1995 comes from the Philadelphia Mint, represented by the mint mark P, and every single one carries the legacy of President John F. Kennedy with powerful symbolism and emotional value. This is not just a circulating coin. It is a collectible with rising appeal and a future that continues to shine brighter. The 1995 was created during a time when the Kennedy half-dollar series was still a cornerstone of American coinage. Even though circulation use had slowed, the coin remained a patriotic tribute. The United States Mint continued the tradition of honoring Kennedy with this beautifully struck copper-nickel-clad half-dollar, ensuring the design stayed alive through the generations. The reason this coin was made was simple: to continue celebrating the memory of President Kennedy and to maintain the tradition of a half-dollar reflecting leadership, hope, and national honor. The coin captures an era while holding onto the emotional and historical weight of Kennedy's legacy. That alone increases its value in the eyes of collectors. The 1995 half-dollar is valuable because high-grade examples have become much harder to find. Millions were minted, but only a tiny number survived untouched, uncirculated, and flawless. Those pristine survivors are the ones that ignite bidding wars and attract deep interest from serious collectors. For collectors searching today, the 1995p has become a quiet powerhouse. Its value does not come from silver content, but from rarity of condition. Perfect or near-perfect examples are sparking more demand each year as the coin becomes recognized as a standout of the 1990s series. In the current market, attractive mint-state coins already draw attention. Collectors especially look for coins with strong luster, crisp detail, and smooth, untouched surfaces. These are the qualities that transform a simple $half into a high-value collectible worth showcasing in any collection. The price range varies dramatically depending on quality. Normal circulated pieces still hold interest, but the real value lies in beautifully preserved examples. A high-grade 1995p can reach impressive amounts, and collectors are ready to compete when a stunning specimen appears for sale. Right now, the most exceptional versions of this coin, certified in elite mint state levels, can reach powerful prices, even climbing into the hundreds. Exceptional top-graded pieces have the ability to push toward the upper levels of collector bidding, rising all the way up to around $850 in special cases where perfection meets rarity. This means that your 1995p $half absolutely can be valuable in the future. As the number of preserved high-grade coins decreases, the demand continues to increase. Condition rarity is one of the strongest forces in coin valuation, and the 1995p benefits from this trend. If your coin remains clean, bright, and untouched, its long-term worth grows stronger. The more you protect it, the higher its value will climb. Collectors love coins that stand out visually, and the 1995p can truly shine when preserved correctly. You can buy this coin through online auctions, dedicated coin marketplaces, and collector-to-collector sales. These are the places where the true value is recognized, where collectors understand what makes the 1995p special and are prepared to pay premium prices for the best examples. Selling this coin is also best done through those same channels: auction sites, grading services, and large collector communities. When your coin has excellent eye appeal, these markets reward you with the highest prices and the strongest competition. If you want the maximum value, the coin should be sealed, protected, and stored carefully. Avoid touching it directly, avoid cleaning it, and consider professional grading if its condition appears exceptional. This is how collectors take a valuable coin and elevate it into a premium asset. The future potential of the 1995p $half remains extremely bright. As more collectors look toward modern classics, coins from the 1990s are gaining momentum. And among them, the 1995p stands out for its sharp design, emotional history, and increasing desirability. This is a coin that rewards patience and preservation. Its strength comes from the delicate balance of rarity, condition, and legacy. It has already proven itself, and its value will only grow stronger with time. The maximum price for the most pristine 1995p $half can rise to around $850 in the right setting with motivated bidders. That alone makes it a coin worth holding, protecting, and appreciating for its historical and collectible power. In your hands, the 1995p $half becomes more than a piece of currency. It becomes a symbol of history, a collector's treasure, and a valuable asset with a bright and rising future.